Brakathia Howell, Brakathia Awashai, Brakathia Howell, Brakathia Awashai, Brakathia Howell, Brakathia Howell, Bashim Awashai, Bahashim, Merkah Kodash, double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone True Well. Salutations to the hopeful elect out there, you Akim to Zadakim, that do this thing in the utmost truth and sincerity. I'm the priest Shaman, and this week's topic is going to be entitled The American Diet, or the food in America equals death, man, or something to those lines, man, something to those lines. Because first of all, the inspiration for the show comes from a documentary I was watching. Pretty much, a guy was going into the toxic diet of America, and pretty much the effects of sugar, you know. And I was thinking about, should I call it to have something to do with gluttony, and then I thought to myself, you could have somebody that's skinny, that's gluttonous, you know what I'm saying, just overeating, you know what I'm saying, overeating or overindulging, and I went to the Nave's topical dictionary. They had certain examples of gluttony, and they use the example of those taking more manna than they needed in the book of Exodus. All right. But we see throughout the scriptures that to overindulge in anything, primarily food, was always something that was shunned, you know. And I also got to thinking, like, it goes beyond just over consuming food, but it goes into the type of foods that we're eating. This is Ezekiel chapter 4 verse 12. It says, "And thou shalt eat um mm, this is Ezekiel chapter 4 verse 13. And the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahweh said, Even thus shall the children of Israel eat their defiled bread among the Gentiles, which I will drive them." So, as they was bringing down the documentary, it's not so much Americans overindulging in food, it's just the type of foods that they're eating. And they was showing the waistline of America, um, from the early '70s to now is just huge. You know what I'm saying? In fact, a man's waist, right? If you wear a size 36, that's measured in inches, 36 inches. It's like logical measuring. A woman's measurement is there's no logic behind it. There's no, like, a size 0 and a size 2 is not based on any metric system. It's just, and they're different per company, right? So there's no measurement to a woman's size. After the 1990s, Asian women have to shop in the kids section. They have to get their clothes in the kids section because most women in America or either overweight or obese, man. You got the little chart above. The fucked up shit is this, man. If a chick is overweight or obese, you look at that picture, they're gonna call themselves thick. They're gonna embrace it. They're gonna embrace that shit. I'm thick and BBW and all that, and but you in a severe health risk right there. You on the verge of collapsing or dying, but niggas are gonna be thirsty. Now, I brought out that point to show the double standards. Models used to be looking like the underweight picture, right? And when the underweight picture was on the magazines, they were saying, look, no, you can't put these on magazines, man. It's dangerous. It's unhealthy to be that skinny. It's unhealthy to be that skinny, and you're gonna mess with kids' minds. But wait a minute, now they're putting obese women on magazines and covers, but they're not saying the same message. Isn't it not unhealthy and dangerous to be morbidly obese, morbidly overweight, right? No, because they're not gonna do that because they want the American people to be fat and stupid, and that's pretty much the consensus about Americans is they're fat and stupid, and America is the most overweight country. All right. And I blame it on the food that Esau pushes out there. High fructose corn syrup, which was created by the Japanese, and some say the dude that created was the retaliation for them dropping a bomb on Japan because it destroyed so much Americans, man. High fructose corn syrup, which is in everything. And you could tell that it's targeted towards Jake because Jake, with them WIC programs and them government programs, a lot of the food that they get off these programs contain high fructose corn syrup, man. Apostle Tahar was mentioning when he did his lesson on eat this bullshit, it's your choice, using like the Kennedy's fried chicken. He mentioned myself and the elder brother Yahweh, that we work out and we get into the diet thing, and I'm gonna say this: we don't eat healthy, so-called healthy year round. We actually have a period of time when we're trying to put on some weight, and we have to go to the, well, not have to, but just for time and just the money is so expensive to try to put on weight eating healthy, because you go to these fairway things and fairway places, and the food is extremely expensive, man. So that right there is telling, man. They make food that fucks you up extremely cheap, and then food that could benefit your body super expensive, man. All right, so it shows you what they want you to be. They want you to be, pretty much overweight or obese, which most Americans are. Now, I want to make a point. When we are bulking up, all we doing is eating, your cheeseburgers and these types of things. And, as you naturally gain in weight, you naturally get a belly. And sometimes I'm just surprised how quick, and I'm talking about we be still working out hard. We still pushing a lot of weight. We're still, it's not like we're not active. And this thing will still make us fat. Like, fat in the sense of like, you get belly fat and these types of things. And I just stop and think like, damn, imagine if we weren't working out. It's so easy with the food that's in America to get like this, morbidly obese and big and shit like that, and I know certain brothers, really don't give a fuck because we're going to get new bodies anyways. And, the fact that we're going to get new bodies, and you don't get too caught up in the carnal, because the scriptures tell you in the book of 2 Corinthians, the 15th chapter, around the 50th verse, that we're going to be changed. And the scripture do say bodily exercise profit little. I understand that, but what's the crazy shit is, Jake don't really care about topics like this till the Most High make them care about topics like this. In other words, Jake don't really wait until they're overweight and obese and they have problems. That's when they start looking to these health things and health lessons, and it's kind of a shame, man, that you let that point come. You start to think differently when the Most High put you in that situation. Like, holy shit, like, damn, my health. Maybe I shouldn't have just fucking been eating honey buns all day, and not giving a fuck, thinking the kingdom's gonna come. Nah, man, that's really not the mindset to really be in. I mean, again, we never pushed to be bodybuilders, but or some, Mr. Olympia type shit. But every now and again, some of the apostles and elders on down and brothers, we put together health topics to let brothers know, look, man, don't wait to get super overweight or your weight out of control to the point that you fucked up in the hospital. Then you're considering herbs. Don't wait till that point, man. Kind of, be cautious of this shit, because I'm telling you, man, this thing makes us get fat quick. And, if you're not working out, I could see this thing fucking you up even real faster, real quicker. And that's just the outside appearance. Who knows what the hell is going on the inside, man? But I made a statement that, being morbidly obese and shit like that was never really esteemed in Israel. You gotta prove what you say. So this is the book of Amos, chapter 4, verse 1. It says, hear this word, ye kine of Bashan, that are in mountains of Samaria, which oppress the poor, which crush the needy, which say to their masters, bring and let us drink. So Amos is calling the woman fat bitches, man, pretty much. The kinds of Bashan. When you go into Bashan, it was a very fruitful land. It was known for having overweight cows, all right? And it's also known for their frosty mountains. They had snow-topped mountains. King David spoke about Bashan, the mountains of Bashan. You know what I'm saying? So Amos is calling the women of Israel fat cows, pretty much, man, because what? They were doing good during the reign of Jeroboam II. But going back to the point that, calling somebody fat was, you was taking shots at them. You was taking shots at them. So the vibration I'm pushing right now is, look, man, the scriptures is never going to be encourage you to, why would the scripture encourage you to be over anything? Scripture speak about moderation. You don't want to be under, you don't want to be over, But in this particular society right now, things are changing to where if you look like that healthy weight picture, well, that healthy weight picture looks right. You know what I'm saying? But some chicks might say, look, that's too skinny. That's too skinny for me. I actually seen little gifs and emojis where You know, they got some nigga grabbing a whole bunch of belly fat, and you know, it's like, oh, he loves grabbing it, some types of shit. But they pushing that shit, man. They pushing that shit hard. You know, to look like that picture in the red is, you know, the way to go. You know, that's the type of woman to be with. That's healthy weight. But look, man, that shit ain't healthy, man. That shit don't look cute, man. All right, to have a fucking protruding belly, despite what they trying to push out there in the mainstream media, man. Why? Because the sugar industry makes billions of dollars, man. All right, and if you know anything about sugar, it's worse than cocaine. That's not even a joke, man. They actually did studies where they gave rats the options of cocaine and sugar. They choose the sugar all the time. There's no nutrients in it. There's nothing in it. All it does is trigger your dopamine glands in your brain, man. So a lot of times you see people just indulging in food. It's not even to fill their stomach. It's just to get like a high, if you will. You know, because these foods are deprived of nutrients. Nutrients is what make you hungry. When your body's hungry, it's craving nutrients. If the food is deprived from nutrients, you're just going to keep eating and eating and eating to get those nutrients that you're never going to get it. All right. And that's how most Americans are the way they are nowadays, man. You know what I'm saying? Obese. Which is all done by design. I'm going to get another scripture. This is the book of Matthew chapter 11, verse 19. The Son of Man came eating and drinking, and they said, behold, a man gluttonous and a winebibber, and a friend of publicans and sinners, but wisdom is justified of her children. So calling somebody a drunkard and a winebibber, gluttonous and a winebibber was an insult, even though we know our Lord wasn't. He was coming off a fast, extremely hungry, extremely thirsty. But the fact that they had the concept of that means you have people like that around, man. You have people like that around always that will overindulge, man. You know? And, you know, you have the scriptures in Exodus and some of these scriptures right here. Let me see some of these ones. I think I went through them. I went through them already. I went through them already, but you know, pretty much. I just wanted to prove that point that look, overindulging in food was never really esteemed in Israel like that, man. All right. So I'm gonna bring out a few scriptures in the book of Sirach as well. You know, I never really had a set topic in mind, man. I saw the documentary. I said, let me just put together a few scriptures on it, man. You know, of course, you know, brothers are built differently, man. But look, man, if it be possible, man, just don't let yourself get obese. Don't let yourself get obese. You know, I'm saying that. I'm not saying that to belittle brothers or not, but I just don't. I just think it'll be more. How you say, pragmatic, man. You know, you kind of want to be able to run a good mile. You never know. Shit might kick at camp. You just want to be able to move. All right. Even though everything is in the hands of the Lord, but you know, I'm just putting that vibration out there. Ecclesiasticus. Let's start at 30 and 15. Pardon me. Health and good estate of body are above all gold, and a strong body above infinite wealth. Infinite wealth. You know. So a strong body, which is a sound and healthy body. We already know the scripture says body exercise profiteth little. So it doesn't mean you necessarily have to be jacked. But, you know, strong body in terms of, you know, your body's not relying on things. You know what I'm saying? You know, weakened from all the bullshit that you consume, heavy breathing, these types of things. You know, a lot of this stuff, you know, is self-inflicted, you know, and it's fucked up because sometimes, you know, brothers just don't have the opportunity to have all these types of different health markets around them. You know, they have something called food deserts, and most Jakes live in a food desert. What's a food desert? Your McDonald's, after McDonald's, Kennedy's Fried Chicken after that, Popeyes after that, you know, Chinese restaurant after that, liquor store, and that's just an end the cycle to what? To get you looking like the picture in the red, man. Fuck you up, get you sedated, you know, and really get you hooked on the drug of sugar and these different products that they create. You know what I'm saying? It's all a racket. It's all a racket, man. It's all a Ponzi scheme. They do that. They fuck up most people. All right. Then they create the organic. Yes, they create organic. Organic is no, you know, organic is just like organic necessarily does not necessarily mean it's coming off a farm and it's freshly raised. That's just a fucking label now, man. The proof on that is you have something called organic seedless grapes. You have organic seedless fruits and shit. So you know that organic shit is just, you know, a tactic to boost the price. You know? You go to these different countries, real organic stuff, real organic fruits and shit are very smaller, all right, and they have seeds in them. So it's all a money racket, all the way from the health guys to the junk guys. It's all a money racket, man. Because what, the so-called white man's the devil. Period. Health and good estate of body are above all gold, and a strong body above infinite wealth. Yeah, what's the point of having $1 billion if you're fucking, in a wheelchair, barely breathing and shit, your health all fucked up? You can't enjoy your money, you know? Verse 16, there is no riches above a sound body, and no joy above the joy of the heart. And having a sound body is awesome, man. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like how you say, it's a mind-body connection thing, man. You feel good when you're eating right and looking good and doing you know what I'm saying? It makes you feel good, man. You have more upbeat, just think about it. The lady in the green versus the lady in the red. Oh shit, I can't even say that about all women, but for the most part, the woman in the green is gonna be feeling good about herself. Because guess what? Nowadays, man, the chick in the red is what you see mainly, and they're proud, man. Very proud and very don't even think they look. The chick in the red picture, the picture you see in the red, she'll have the attitude of a chick that's in the green. She'll think she'll curvy. You know. Well, if you can't handle this, then go find someone else. Then that's how they are. They have no intentions of losing that shit. It says, there is no riches above a sound body, and no joy above the joy of the heart. Death is better than a bitter life or continual sickness. And speaking of continual sickness, man, that's what this health industry is. That's what the healthcare system is, to have you continually sick. Once you get in them hospitals, trust and believe, they're going to find something wrong with you that you didn't even know that was wrong with you. All right? And we already know that there's no money or profit in curing you. All right? There's only money and profit in treating you. So they want to keep you continually sick. And that starts with the American diet. All right? The goal is to get you sick, get you fucked up, get you in the hospital. And once you get you in the hospital, stay in the hospital. They use the same tactic with these wars. You go on to war, you don't end the war because there's no money in that. It's to keep the war going. So the military industrial complex could keep the money flow. And the same thing too with the American diet, man. Why you think if they really wanted you to lose weight, they'd stop doing fat-free items, man. All right? They'll do sugar-free items because it's better to run off fats, to have your body run off fat than run off sugar, Because if your body's consuming more fats, it will burn fat first. But if it's running off carbs and sugar, what it's going to do? It's going to burn sugar first. And that's what you see happening. It's a heavy carb diet. The American diet is very heavy carb-based, heavy sugar-based. And unless you're a professional athlete, most people can't burn that shit, So your body's going to store it as fat. So you see, it's easy to get that belly. That belly, that little pouch belly is like the common body figure now in this era of the American people, man. You know what I'm saying? And again, I was gonna borderline this amongst gluttony, but it's not even really gluttony. It's just the food that the so-called white man creates. Because even if you're not eating this shit like that, man, the blasting of sugar, which spikes the shit out your insulin, which creates diabetes. Type 2 diabetes is being insulin resistant, from constantly getting your insulin spiked by all this American diet, this sugar. So, it's just breaking you down. It's fucking you up. It got you all depressed, And people they'll go in the gym for all the wrong reasons. They go in the gym because, a lot of it's not really something that they're enthusiastic about, man, And that's how come they never truly get a lot of people don't get any results because they feel like they're obligated to be there, like it's like a job or some heavy burden, so they don't tend to really flourish. Matter of fact, like this whole thing with doing the 3 shows a week, certain brothers, that's like a burden to them, certain brothers like, damn, I gotta make this 3, and they don't truly, it's not truly in them, right, which they should pray on that. But certain brothers love doing these lessons, you know what I'm saying? Or certain brothers legitimately don't have the time sometimes because whatever particular circumstances. But the most I know every man's heart. But the point I want to make is, the ones that truly are enthusiastic about doing these lessons, what they do, they constantly putting together shows, and it's not a burden to them, and they spiritually healthy, you know. And the same thing too with the American people. Like a lot of them is there. It's like a burden. I'll see it, man. I go in the gym. I'll see people just in there, just sitting. They just don't want to be there. They just there because they feel themselves getting overweight, or it's a fad or some type of shit like that. They and in fact, me and his brother Judah, we saw this chick. She went to the gym and she was actually getting fatter. She was some fat chick, but she was getting even fatter. And we already broke it down right away. We knew exactly what was up because she's doing these little spin classes, these little classes which ain't burning enough calories to cover even a fucking banana. The amount of sugar that is in everything. You gotta really exert some calories, or you're gonna have to be really disciplined and strict in what you consume. And the so-called white man is making, as time goes farther, even harder and harder to maintain your weight, man, or to be at a healthy body weight. You know, if you put Whole Foods on every corner instead of a fucking deli, or like, yeah, a deli, then people will look different, man. Or even change the food that's in the deli. How about that? But they ain't gonna do that because they much rather have you obese and sedated. You know. Let me go to Sirach, the 31st chapter. This is Sirach, chapter 31, verse 20. It says, sound sleep coming from moderate eating. So you get good sleep from moderate eating. So the scripture is all about balance, and it's always been about moderation, And again, I can't even say it's about being gluttonous, because it's really the primary source is the food and the food options. The options that they give out here in America is just it's prone to get you big. Look at the food that's in the school system, and not only get you big but get you sick. This is all done by design, man. Most kids you see they all big and fat before they even 11 years old. You know what I'm saying? 10 years just big. All right, and it's not how much they're eating, man. All right, because how come they didn't look like that in the 70s or the 60s? It's what they're eating. And you best believe that the so-called white man, this is an agenda of his. All right. It says sound sleep coming from moderate eating. He rises early. He rises early. And that type of shit is, you don't see people doing that, man. Rising up early and getting ready for the day, and nah, man, it's like you eat the bullshit and you oversleep, or you have fucked up sleep, where sleeping itself is like, it's a spiritual thing for you. It's like it's the spirit resting. It says, and his wits are with him. And the scripture makes me think about the men that Gideon chose, the 300 that he chose. The ones that didn't, the ones that lapped, and the ones that lapped with their hands. You know what I'm saying? I picture the warrior brothers just taking, what sufficed them, instead of going out of control, drinking mad water. Just the ones that took with their hands and took it moderately. It says, sound sleep cometh of moderate eating. He rises early, and his wits are with him. But the pain of watching and choler and pangs of the belly are with the unsatiable man. Salaki, are with an unsatiable man. Pardon me. I don't even know why that word is unsatiable. Unsatiable. Let me look it up, man. Let me look up this word. Unsatiable. Unsatiable. It cannot be satisfied. Unsatiable. Like unsatisfiable. All right. Cannot be satisfied. That's gluttony right there. Impossible to satisfy. Unquenchable. What else? What other dictionaries I got? Quenchless, satisfied. And guess what? That's what the American diet does. I mentioned the fact that it's deprived of nutrients, so how can you truly be satisfied? It's kind of hard. That's one thing I noticed. I noticed well, right now we on our cut period, which we're eating healthy, is there's less calories. There's less calories being consumed because the food that when you go with the healthy choice, you get your actual steak with maybe some mac and cheese, or you actually get baked chicken. It gets you full a lot faster. You can't eat as much of that shit as you could bust down mad burgers and all that because the nutrients. You get satisfied easier. You know, but the scriptures is telling you expressly that you know pain is going to come from pain and colon pangs of the belly, or with them that can't be satisfied because the body can't break down all that shit you're consuming. It can't break it down fast enough. It's just too much going. It's just overworking your system, so it's going to be in pain and anguish. All this designed by the so-called white man. You know what's crazy? You have the richest people in the world. How come they're not obese? How come the Rothschilds and these characters are not obese? The Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, these rich elite banking families, they have all the money in the world, but yet they're not obese. Why? Are they in the gym 24/7? Nah, man, it's just what they're eating compared to what we're eating. They're eating the most choice food that makes them full, you know, and it doesn't fuck them up. It doesn't fuck up their bodies. So imagine all Americans did that. Trust me, they'll think differently. They'd have a different mindset. They wouldn't be so easy to, pull a fast one on them. They'll revolt more. Look at the people in the UK and the parts of the world that are up on the uprise because they eat different. So food plays a major part in your thought process, man. You know? Hey, man, look, that was just a quick lesson. I'm still kind of thinking about the title, man. Just maybe the American food, just leads to death and obesity. But hey, man, if you brothers were edified, I pray you brothers were. I pray so I make us make conscious decisions about ourselves, man. I'm not saying that has to do with salvation, but I just Spirit's telling me, man, it's better to try to keep your body in the green than the fucking red. Common sense too. Hey, with that, I'm gonna give all praises to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai Bahashim Rakakodash. Them belongs to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, which you well. Salutations to hopeful elect out there. You Akim to Zadakim that do this thing in the truth and that do this thing in truth and sincerity. Shalom.